Trilogy is finally complete. In 1994, Paul Auster's novel The City of Glass was adapted into a graphic novel and received nearly universal praise. It was the first novel in his New York City trilogy, and for years people wondered, would the other installments get a similar treatment? Well, now, finally, that project has been completed with some pretty legendary names in the comic book industry behind it. When it comes to adaptation, the first question is, why do we have to tell this story in a different format? For this work, I think there are a number of different answers to that question. And first, and call me a Philistine, I was not super familiar with Paul Auster's work before reading this graphic novel. So in the basic sense, it exposes it to a new audience and gives a story new life. Beyond that, though, this is a work so apt for adaptation because so much of the core of these stories is about observation and perspective. They start off simple enough. City of Glass is about a struggling writer who gets mistaken for a private investigator, and his curiosity, along with his desire to write a new story, get him involved in a situation he is not at all prepared for. Ghost is about a private detective hired to track another agent, and The Locked Room is about a man who becomes absorbed into the life of his childhood friend who disappeared and begins living his life, including writing the stories he never completed. Each story is layered with meta commentary regarding the process of storytelling and what it means to recreate life with your own words. Seeing Paul Auster's words go through a similar process helps emphasize that point, and utilizing a multitude of creators helps us reevaluate the process of storytelling altogether. Each story has a different creative team. The original City Lights by Paul Karysik is included, Lorenzo Matteotti adapts Ghost, and the legendary Dave Mazzucchelli completes the trilogy with The Locked Room. Why we're not having a global holiday over the fact we're getting more Dave Mazzucchelli interiors in our lives is something I would like to be answered. Now, this is a very different Mazzucchelli than what you saw with Year One or Born Again, more akin to his more recent work. There's just a softer line, but his knack for character work and storytelling has not lost a step. Lorenzo Matteotti takes a more comic prose approach with one still image accompanied with related text, and while Paul Karysik's work is old enough to drink, at this point, it still holds up to this day. As a fan of Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips and the crime genre in general, this was like going back to the source material to see where they got their knowledge of the genre from. I don't know how much Paul Auster influenced them or not, but if you do like their work, there is much to be gained reading this. Now, this is undoubtedly complex with some abstract ideas that feel purposely convoluted at times, but being in the comic book format does make it far more digestible. So if you're a fan of the genre, want to read something that is a bit different, that challenges you, this is definitely worth your time.